Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Star of Pineapple and Poi, and I just would like to start off by saying thank you so much to my new subscribers. I did gain a bunch of new subscribers since my last videos, and I just want to say hi and thank you so much for sticking around. If you are new here, I hope you like what you see and consider subscribing. Jumping right into my what's for dinner video for last week. On this night, I made Salisbury steak. In my bowl, I have 1 pound of ground beef, and to that, I added onion powder, garlic powder, pepper, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, mustard, and breadcrumbs. I was able to get 5 patties out of the 1 pound of ground beef. And then I moved on to the gravy. Now this recipe, which I will link below, called for 2 packets of brown gravy and 2 cups of water with a little bit of Worcestershire sauce and ketchup. Unfortunately, that was not enough liquid, so if you do decide to make this recipe, I highly caution you to at least double the amount of liquid that it calls for, because the gravy did turn out too salty. But it is a good recipe. I just needed to add more liquid to the gravy. I fried the ground patties until they were cooked through, and then once that was done, I added the gravy to the meat. On the side, I decided to make some Instant Pot mashed potatoes. This has easily become my favorite way of making mashed potatoes now. I don't know that I'll ever make them on the stove again, just because the Instant Pot is so quick. It takes about 10 minutes and the potatoes come out perfectly mashable every time. So if you have an Instant Pot and haven't tried making mashed potatoes in it yet, I highly encourage you to do so. Here I am adding in the gravy to the meat. I did add liquid to the pot as it cooked because I realized that the sauce was too thick. It just needed a lot more than I added. So again, if you do make this, I highly caution you to double the amount of water. And that was it. That was dinner. The Salisbury steak, the mashed potatoes, and I served it with asparagus on the side. On the next night, we decided to make chicken fettuccine Alfredo. The recipe that I used for this is actually a tasty recipe. I will link it below. My daughter found this recipe online a few months ago and really likes the way the Alfredo sauce tastes. So whenever she's craving Alfredo, this is the recipe that I use. I diced up 2 chicken breasts and then added it to some melted butter in my pot. Seasoned it with salt, pepper, oregano, and basil. Once the chicken was cooked through, I removed it from the pot and added in another 2 tablespoons of butter to get started on my sauce. Once the butter had melted, I added in 2 teaspoons of jarred minced garlic. Now you can use fresh garlic here. I just personally opted for the jarred kind because it was quicker. And then I gradually added in my flour. You want to do this gradually and stir constantly just to make sure that the garlic isn't burning and that the flour is cooking all the way through. Once that was done, I gradually added in the milk and stirred that constantly as well. And then I seasoned the sauce with another round of the same seasonings we used on the chicken. So salt, pepper, oregano, and basil. And then I added in my shredded Parmesan cheese, and that was it. It's a super quick recipe and it comes out yummy. So I'm glad that my daughter found this recipe. Once the sauce was done, I added the chicken back in and then added in the fettuccine noodles that you see my daughter cooking in the background. And that was it. That was dinner. I served it with a homemade dinner roll and asparagus on the side. For dinner the next night, I decided to make soup in my Instant Pot. My oldest daughter had actually asked me to make soup a week prior, but I had just gotten around to making it on this night. The recipe that I used is a copycat Olive Garden pasta fagioli soup. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's either fagioli or fagiol. I don't know the correct pronunciation, so if you know it, leave me a comment below. I diced up some baby carrots, some celery, onion, and garlic. And then in my Instant Pot on the saute function, I browned 1/2 pound of ground beef and 1/2 pound of Italian sausage. Now, if you are budget conscious and don't want to spend the extra money on Italian sausage, you can go ahead and use all ground beef. The sausage doesn't really add much of a difference to the soup other than spiciness. So if you prefer to use the ground beef, you can do that as well. It'll still turn out the same. Once the meat was browned, I drained the fat and then returned it to the pot and added in my vegetables. I deglazed the bottom with a little bit of beef broth just to make sure that I wouldn't get a burn warning while it was cooking. And then I added in a jar of spaghetti sauce. We love the Ragu brand, so that's what we used. And then I added in a 32-ounce carton of beef broth. I gave everything a good stir just to make sure that the liquid had covered all of the other ingredients. And then I added in my spices, which were oregano, basil, and parsley. I put the lid on and let it cook for 10 minutes. This is basically just to make sure that the soup has a chance to build flavor, because we will add in the beans later, the beans and the pasta later, because those require a shorter cooking time. So this first portion of the cooking is to allow the soup to build flavor and then also to soften the vegetables up a little bit. Once the 10 minutes were up, I realized I had forgotten to add in my can of diced tomatoes, so I just threw it in with the beans. I used 1 can of red kidney beans, rinsed and drained, and 1 can of cannellini beans, also rinsed and drained. And then for the pasta, traditionally this soup has ditalini pasta in it, but I didn't want to spend the $2.50 on a box of pasta, so I just used the elbow macaroni that I had in my pantry. I ended up putting in about 3/4 cup of the dry pasta, which ended up being the perfect amount for the soup. I gave that a good stir, put the lid on my Instant Pot, and then let it go for another 6 minutes, just enough time for the pasta to cook and the beans to soften. And then that was it, guys. This was an easy recipe. It was super quick, and it ended up actually being really good. My youngest daughter, who was not a soup fan, actually really loved it and had about 4 bowls in the span of 2 days. So this is a definite keeper. I'll be making it again for sure. I served it with a homemade dinner roll, and that was our super easy and quick soup dinner. For dinner the next night, my family had asked for cheeseburgers, so I just took 1 pound of ground beef and then added in some hamburger seasoning by McCormick. I gave that a good mix and formed some patties. We do not have a grill, so I do have to cook these on the stovetop. Once the patties were cooked through, I added on the cheese slices and then served the cheeseburgers with the shells and cheese that we like from Aldi, as well as some Walmart potato wedges that I threw in my air fryer. And that was our quick and easy cheeseburger meal. And then for dinner on the last night of the week, we had family over for dinner and game night. So I just decided to cook up some turkey taco meat and then serve that with some Spanish rice, some chips and salsa, and some taco shells and toppings. Unfortunately, I didn't get to film me making dinner, but I did film me making this pie for dessert earlier in the day. This is a banana cream cheesecake no-bake pie that I had originally seen on Mandy in the Makings channel. It looked so delicious, so I decided to make it for game night. The ingredients were fresh bananas, the banana cream jello pudding, vanilla wafer cookies, the no-bake classic cheesecake by Jello, as well as 1 graham cracker pie crust. And you guys, this is such a simple dessert to make. If you're looking for a dessert to bring to any summertime potlucks or barbecues or family get-togethers, you guys are gonna wanna try this one because it's quick and easy, it's no-bake, and it only requires a few hours to set up. It's super easy. You just follow the instructions on the Jello boxes. Basically, you're mixing the powder in with milk, and then to assemble the pie, you take half of the banana cream mixture, and then you put that on the bottom of the pie crust, and then you top that with fresh banana slices and the vanilla wafers. I forgot to save room for the cookies, so if they look like they're an afterthought, that's exactly what they were. So I just threw it on top of the banana slices, and it really didn't affect the pie at all. It was still super yummy, and my family really loved it. So once you put on the banana slices and the cookies, you put in the entire bowl of the cheesecake mixture, and then you top that with the remaining banana cream pudding, and then you top that with some fresh banana slices. You put the lid on your crust, and you put it in your fridge until you're ready to serve. Once you're ready to serve, you take your pie out, and then you can crumble up some of the cookies and top the pie with that, and then cut and serve. And you guys, honestly, like I said, if you're looking for an easy and quick, no hassle kind of dessert to take to a family function or a church function or a barbecue or anything like that, you're gonna wanna try this. It's super quick and easy, and I guarantee you people will like it. And that's it, guys. That was my what's for dinner video for last week. I hope you guys liked my video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, I hope you consider subscribing and sticking around. Just want to say thank you so much for being here and supporting my content. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye.